you guys?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I think our guys have a good attitude. I think they're hungry. I don't think we didn't end the season on a real high note last year. Really didn't play well the last 2 ball games, and so I think our guys have been hungry to get back out in the field and get that bad taste out of their mouth. I thought it was good. I mean, we got a lot of things to work on. I mean, a lot of little things that we're not doing. I think I told the guys the thing I liked is we have more depth, more competition. Guys that have been starters are getting pushed by younger players or transfers or new additions to the program, and so I think it brings out the best in everybody when you have good competition, and I think that was good. Our conditioning's got to get better. I mean, we're not in great shape right now. We're going to have to practice ourselves into shape, and it's a little disappointing in a couple of guys in that regard. But overall, I thought it was a good start.
You guys, how is Shane carrying himself so far?
Yeah, I think good. I mean, you can tell he's done this before. I think that was what drew us to him at the very beginning, just his experience, and I think he's a pretty calm, cool customer, and I think that's that's the most, probably when you sit down and you say what's the most important thing at quarterback, I think that's probably it. So I thought for the first day with a new offense and doing all the things, I thought he looked good. I was really impressed with really all 3 of the quarterbacks. I mean, I thought Terrence Gibson did some good things for a young guy. She flashed at times, and then I thought Will, continued to improve from where he was in the spring as well. So, we'll see. It's going to be a good competition, and kind of excited to see how it all plays out, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
Coach, how did you think the freshman wide receivers did today?
Good. I think that's going to be a good group. I think Rashee Rice is pretty far along. He's got good ball skills. He's got some length to him. I think he's really understands the game, and I think from what I saw today, he'll have a chance to compete, get on the field, assuming he can, continue to perform like he did today and get better and improve, and I think he will. Calvin Wiggins, I think he's got great size and is very athletic and is probably a little further along than I thought he might be, so I was encouraged by that. And Keontae, Kiki, I thought he did a lot of good things too. I mean, it's a big body. We expected him to be a little bit raw, just kind of because of his background a little bit, having to do a lot of different things like he did. But he's probably further along than I expected as well. So, good first day. Typically those guys, start to fade a little bit as they get overwhelmed and all that. And so, we'll see which of the freshmen can continue to impress.
Which players were limited today, Coach?
We had a couple of guys. I mean, Ryan Becker was limited. Reggie was limited. Trying to think who else. Just didn't want to overwork those guys. I mean, both of them have a little bit of back stuff going on, but I don't think it's significant at all. I think defensively, we'll always limit Richard Moore a little bit just to make sure his workload's not too much. We'll do the same thing with a couple of D tackles, but it's not anything significant.
Gibson is fully cleared, right?
Yeah. Gibson's fully cleared. And, excited to kind of see, like I said, he showed flashes in the spring, and thought he showed some flashes today. And at some point we'll turn him loose, let him run the football some, because that's one of his strong suits. So as we get down a little bit further through practice and all that stuff, we'll start letting him run the ball a little bit live as well.
A year into the tenure, how close are you getting to that complete buy-in?
I mean, I think it's significant. I think the biggest thing with us is, I think our strength and conditioning staff does such a great job with our players, and I think, there's a culture and an expectation that we have now. I'll say this about this freshman class. I mean, there's a bunch of mature guys, and I think this group is different. You have a bunch of freshman classes year in, year out. Some are better than others, and some are bigger, faster, stronger, whatever. But I'll say this about that group: it's a mature freshman class, and those guys, I think are about winning championships and have the right mentality and really like the way they approach, off-season conditioning over the summer, and really like the way they approach today. As I said, the thing about freshmen, sometimes they once their body starts to break down, their mind kind of does the same thing, and so we gotta stay mentally tough. But you know, I think the culture and the buy-in, it's never where you want it, but it's significantly better than it was.
Talk a little bit about Rashad Samples and what he brings to on the field and off the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, you know, when you lose a coach as late as we lost one, you know, in some ways it kind of limits your ability to go out and get somebody. But in our case, I think it led us to Rashad, which I think was a huge asset to our program. You know, I think when I sat down and evaluated, you know, what we needed, I had a chance to look at all the 9 coaches that remained on our staff and say, okay, what's our strengths, what's our weaknesses, how can we, you know, improve our entire group? And I think Rashad does that. I mean, I think he's, you know, I think he's going to be a huge asset for us in recruiting. You know, has relationships, knows people, you know, and the energy that he brings every day, his ability to communicate with players, with coaches. You know, he's a little bit like the freshman class I just talked about. I mean, he's a young guy, but he's remarkably mature. Very polished, you know, just exactly what you want from a young coach. Eager, but at the same time realizes he doesn't know everything. So, I mean, I think that was a huge steal for us, a huge addition to our program. I think it's going to pay dividends for us for years. And so I think he's, you know, he's everything we thought he'd be and then some so far.
Anything else?
Coach, how are the transfers fitting in right now?
Good. I mean, I really, you know, like what I've seen out of all the guys. You know, I spent most of my time looking at the offense today. Didn't spend a lot of time on defense, but you know, really liked some of the things I saw from Cam. Really liked some of the things I saw from Chevin. Zach Abercrombie, I think, was kind of what I thought he would be, and you know, thought Shane was good and kind of ahead of where I thought he would be. So when you sit down and you look at the group as a whole, you know, you can see why. You know, those guys were heavily recruited and went to good programs. You can see why Zach was, you know, one of the most productive, you know, players that Rice had. You know, when you just sit down and you look at all the guys that we have in our program, I mean, those transfers have been huge for us. I mean, that's you know, it's a great opportunity for us. We're in Dallas, Texas. People leave and realize that, you know, this is a pretty special place and want to get back here. And so we're glad they're here. You know, I think they're going to give us that little extra edge that we need, hopefully, to you know, keep building the program. And you know, I liked what I saw from them today. You know, I think they're learning. Their heads are spinning a little bit, but at the same time, you know, you can see the athleticism and the want to certainly there. And the best thing about those guys, they've come in and kind of immersed themselves in our culture, and they're the right kind of kids. And so, you know, I think transfers sometimes get labeled as disgruntled or not unhappy, whatever. Or that they weren't playing someplace, and these guys were all good players and going to be, you know, playing at their schools, and they just decided, you know, they want to do it at home, and they like the, you know, the direction of our program. So we're glad we have them, and look forward to getting more.
Any word on waivers for Callaway, Jones?
No, we're still gathering paperwork. I mean, that's the waiver process takes a little bit of time to put it all together. I would imagine we'll submit some of that today on a couple of guys, and then potentially. You know, if not today, first part of next week, and you know, then the NCAA, I'm sure will act very fast like they always do. I'm sure we'll know something immediately.
Anything else?
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks.